What's up YouTube, Stomp603 here, and I'm going to do a brand new video series on Reloading 101. These videos are basically geared towards the person that's just looking to get it into reloading, or maybe you've already started reloading and you want to find out different ways that you can do different parts of the process. So anybody that's seen my videos in the past, basically you know what they're all about. So if you're an experienced reloader, this is just an introductory video, this first one, so you can just skip right to the next one. The way I clean my brass with different ways to clean your brass when you get back from the range. So if you're just looking to get into reloading or you're a beginner, basically I'm just going to go over step by step how to produce a round, basically cleaning your brass when you get back, different ways to do that. Different ways to resize and trim your brass, how to clean out your primer pockets, get rid of military crimps, different ways and different equipment you can use to charge a case, and then seating your bullet, crimping it, and checking your overall cartridge length and stuff to make sure it's going to chamber in your weapon properly. So that's basically an outline for this video series. People that are just getting into reloading and people that are currently reloading, just started out, safety first. Always consult your manuals. The information that I'm giving here is not a recipe for you, it's what I use. So you got to figure out what's best for you, depending on what type of bullet and what type of weapon you have. So always wear your goggles in these videos. I'm not wearing glasses, I'm not wearing gloves, I'm not handling large amounts of the brass and stuff. So I know about a year ago I was getting really lightheaded all the time for like 6 months, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And what it ended up being was handling brass that had been fired. The overexposure to lead and stuff like that gets through your skin and into your blood, and it just kind of makes things go crazy. So always protect yourself, okay? Reloading, it's a great hobby. I love to do it. I almost like to try to teach new people that I know more about it and getting them into it. So it's just like any other hobby. It does not have to be super expensive. They make starter kits where you can buy the basics, the essentials to produce a round, and that you can shoot down range. And then as you go on, you can actually, obviously get different equipment that maybe speeds up the process or does a better job. So don't watch this video and see all the stuff that I have and kind of get turned off by it because you feel like it's an expensive investment to get into, and it's really not. You only have to go shooting a couple times, and you'll spend more money buying factory ammo shooting those couple times than you would actually going out and buying a starting kit. Kit, for example, like I'm talking about, is the Lyman T-Mag 2 kit. I use a lot of Lyman stuff, but that kit's probably like $500, and I've actually had a couple of my friends come up where they found it for cheaper than that. So to get $500 worth of ammo that can go really quick. I mean, you're talking about 2 or 3 times shooting, and you've gone through 500 rounds of ammo, depending on what you're shooting. So if the more you shoot, the quicker it's going to pay itself off, obviously, and then pretty soon it just feels like you're shooting for free once you get an inventory of bullets, powders, primers, all that stuff. And it makes it a little more enjoyable for me to go out shooting and not having to worry about I just blew through $200 worth of AR ammo, So with that, I'm going to show you real quick just what I have on my bench, and then we'll start with the first video downstairs. That's where I have all my stuff for cleaning brass. So let me get the camera off the tripod. I'll show you this real quick, and then we'll head on downstairs. Okay, so this is my bench. I'm just going to go over what I got on it. Basically, this is everything I need to produce ammo, minus the stuff that's downstairs for cleaning. So if you just want to skip the next video and you don't really care what's on my bench, feel free. If you're just getting into reloading, this is kind of what you can expect once you start getting into it. So I load 223, 9, 357 SIG, and 45 or 40. I don't have a 45 anymore. I got rid of it, so I don't need to reload for that. So plenty of ammo ready to go. Once you get a progressive press, you can start knocking that stuff out pretty quick, and then you run out of cases to put ammo in. Over here I got all my brass ready to go. 223, 9, 357 SIG, 40, and I got some 45 there on the end. This stuff's all clean, trimmed, primer pockets taken care of, military crimps are removed. It's all ready for primer, powder, and bullets. So you got plenty of that ready to go. Here I got the Lyman Case Prep Express. Basically I use this once I trim my brass to take care of the rest of it. Inside deburring tool, outside military crimp remover, flash hole drill, and the other one for the primer pocket. So that's the Lyman Case Prep Express primers. We used to have a shortage last year around here where there was none on the shelves. Doesn't seem to be a problem now, but usually when I go to the store I'll grab 1,000 just so I have plenty on hand. There's 100 in each pack, so 10 packs. Primers, I get them for $3.75 a pack. So basically when you're reloading you got to kind of figure in the cost of everything, and then you can decide if it's worth it or not for you to get into the reloading. Powders, definitely not worth it to buy them online. I know powder's really hard to find, especially up here in New England. I know out west they seem to be pretty stocked up from what I'm seeing on Facebook, but if you buy it online then you got to pay hazmat and shipping, and then it almost doubles the price per pound. So at that point you might as well just buy factory ammo because it's actually cheaper. But if you can get it for, and some people are gouging people, they don't seem to be doing that up here. This CFE pistol is $24.99 a pound, and tight group I was getting for $21.99 a pound. So if you're in the 20s, anything under 30 you're doing pretty well per pound. I've seen some stuff online, they want $49 a pound, and at that point, I mean, it's just not worth it. So basically figure out which caliber you're reloading, get a list of the powders that you can use to reload that caliber, so that way when you go to the store, you can check out what they got in stock and check it against your list, and if it's on your list, grab it. Can't have enough. Basically, if it's on the shelf here, I buy it because it probably never even see it on the shelf again. The CFE pistol, it's been out for about a year. I've never seen it on the shelf, and I went to a little gun store last week to get my parts of my gun, and they actually had some on the shelf, so I bought 2 pounds of that. Pretty excited about trying that out this summer. So I do rifle and pistol. Tight groups, my go-to powder for pistol. I do 9 and 40 with it. With tight group, I found you use half the amount of powder to produce the same amount of results as some of the other powders. So right there, that drops the price of your bullet per bullet, and makes your reloading a better reason to start reloading. The more money you can save per round. I was using number 7 for a while, and HS6. So like I said, tight group, I'm using about half the amount that those ones are calling for, roughly. Accurate number 9, use that exclusively for 357 SIG. And then as far as rifle, or the 223, I was using 2230, 4895 benchmark. 748 is my go-to powder. Different types of powders, you got ball powder, flake powder, stick powder. 748 is a ball powder, and it meters really well through your powder dispensers. So it's a lot more consistent. When I brought it out and chronoed it, each string, the spread was really well. It's probably the best out of everything I've used. I'm getting like 30 to 40 to 50, somewhere in there, feet per second different per string. So really consistent. CFE 223, haven't really experimented too much with that. I got that on the shelf last year, but I used a 748. 3031 I liked, got me out of a pinch. I had nothing, so this is the only thing they had on the shelf. I was using 335 at the time, and between these two I noticed pretty much the same results. They're both stick powders, they both meter the same way, and pretty much they shot almost identical. So Varget, I don't really use that much because I shoot 55 grain bullets. That's more for 62 and up. I was doing some 62 grain ones, so that's why I got the Varget. So pay attention to how heavy the bullet is you're shooting, and different powders work better than others. So powder, and this is the Lyman T-Mag 2. It's the turret press that I started out with. It's basically a single stage with the turret on top. A single stage usually has one hole in the top, older ones anyway, and then you got 4 different dies usually per caliber, so you're constantly changing dies out or having to readjust them. It's a time consuming process, and I didn't really like it. So that's the reason why I got the turret press, because once you get all your dies set up in there, you ain't got to touch them ever again. So if you're loading different calibers, you just get new turrets. Like over here, and then you put your dies in them and get them all set up, and you don't have to mess with them at all. So as far as scales, powder measures and stuff, this is the Lyman Gen 4, I believe. It's a digital powder measurer dispenser. So you fill the hopper up top with powder, you punch in on the keypad how many grains you want it to dispense, and then it'll do it automatically for you. I use that pretty much when I'm testing out a new powder and I'm doing ladder loads. You got to have exactly the same amount in every single case. So you get, when you get your results, you got better an answer of what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, which powder's good, which powder's bad. So that's the digital powder dispenser. This is the number 55 Lyman powder thrower. So this comes in the Lyman kit. You fill up your hopper and then just use this handle. Put your case under here and it'll charge each case as you're moving the handle. If you're going to use this type of setup, you're going to need just a regular digital scale. So you dispense the powder into there, and then say you're doing 5.5 grains of tight group and it's 5.3 grains, you need to add a little bit. You use a trickler. You fill this up with powder and then just turn this knob. And, you put it right over the tray there. Turn the knob, trickle a couple pieces in there until it hits the desired amount, and then you're good to go. This is just a case trimmer, little the world's finest trimmer from Little Crow Gunworks. I use it for doing my 223 brass. You put it in a drill and then you just feed the brass into the end, and that works really quick for processing 223. Bullets, I get all my bullets pretty much from Extreme Bullets right now. Again, anytime you can cut costs on any of the steps in the process, it's going to make each round cheaper to produce. So these are copper plated 223 versus I was using Hornady full metal jackets. So these are a lot cheaper. I'm just using these for plinking anyway, so they don't need to be full metal jacket. I got some green tips for home defense and stuff if I need those. This is 40 from Extreme Bullets, copper plated. I use a full metal jacket when I'm doing 357 SIG, just because it's a faster round. So it's full metal jacket, and then both of these are filled with 9 Extreme. Over here I just got cleaning supplies and stuff, and then I got my weights for my scales to calibrate them, and case gauges and stuff in there. This is a Lee hand primer. Each press comes with usually a setup on it where you can prime the cases using your press, but this is a lot quicker, a lot better if you ask me. I'll get into that when we get to that video. So this is the Dillon XL 650 progressive press. Basically, this turret moves around and you do each round through each die and then move the turret and do the next step and the next step. So with a progressive press, all your dies are in the top, and then let me turn this light on. Each pull of the handle will turn your shell plate and bring that ram up, and it will produce one round every single time you pull the handle. So it's pretty quick. That's why they don't really recommend it for beginners, because you can't really pay attention to every single step in the process, and everything's just moving so fast. So once you get your fundamentals down and everything, and you feel really comfortable doing it on a single stage press, then progressive press is probably your next step. The light goes in there like that. So that's the XL 650. Like I said, you got all your dies up here. This is a audible warning in case you got not enough powder or too much powder in one of the cases. Your powder goes in up top here, and it's all automatic. So your primers feed down into this tube. So like I said, every pull of the handle produces one bullet, and it'll just drop right into that bin, and that bin will be full in no time at all. This is the Super Swage 600 Dillon, and this gets rid of military crimps for your brass. It's really quick. That's what I use now. Not necessity. There's other ways to do it. It's $100. I think I paid for that. So once you run out of things to buy, and then you start buying stuff like this, and it just makes the process easier and quicker. This is another tool head for the Dillon. It's the same principle as your turrets. So you just buy additional tool heads, put your dies in there, and get another powder measurer. So your powder measure has an adjustment knob here to determine how much it drops. Again, I don't like messing with all that stuff once I get set up. So you just buy extra caliber exchange kits and everything, and then once you get it all set up, you just take that tool head off, pull 2 pins out, 1 on each side, slide this one out, slide the new one in, and you're ready to go. So this one's 9mm right now, and that other one's set up for 223. Pretty expensive. Again, not a necessity, but after you get reloading for so many years, and then you get tired of switching things out, so you look for easier ways to do things. So that's that. And then obviously I just got my die kits under here. That's the Lyman universal case trimmer. I was using that for a long time until I got that the world's finest trimmer. Makes the process a lot quicker. And then just my caliper, a lube pad, some loading blocks. So that's basically it. That switch is on my bench there. So let's get started. We'll actually start reloading some stuff. I'll get the camera set up down in the basement, and then we'll start cleaning some brass.